This might be a bad idea. I'll have video evidence of my own demise.
So we got a little snow in Portland. Then we got out of Dodge and left town for the weekend. Apparently, it was also very windy. We returned 3 days later without power.
And here's why. Branches falling all across power lines all over the city.
Portland is having a weather event.
It's hairy.
Yeah, I don't get it.
We actually had planned to go to Kelly's aunt's house for the weekend, long before any of this happened. But I guess right when we left on Friday evening, the power went out.
Hundreds of thousands of people are without power.
And hasn't been restored, and it is Monday evening now.
Be prepared for power to be out for days. They say they can't give you updates.
We stayed an extra night because we knew this was going on.
It's just getting worse.
We have no power. Everything's covered in snow and ice. And that's very unusual for Portland.
Underneath there, Kurt, if you can zoom in, there is these 3 trees along Courtney Avenue that have fallen down. There is a wire coming straight down through the middle of those trees.
Yeah, that is so
I have seen more
dangerous.
than a dozen cars come through that arch.
Oh, all right, people, make smart decisions and just go around.
I already went up on the boat. This might be a bad idea. I'll have video evidence of my own demise. One hand for the boat. This is what I was worried about.
The hatch over our pilot house is currently being protected by one of those fancy blue tarps.
It seems fine. Wow, this whole thing filled up. That's the deepest snow I've seen. Well, there's some water, but it appears to be holding. Oh shit. This is really weird. Why was this left open? Look at that little pile of snow. Oopsies. The damage is done. I can't believe how high up. I mean, there is walls here. And we're like clear up on top of them. Okay, I'm not going down the stairs holding a camera.
Difficult to work on the boat without power.
But that just means that really no progress is being made, nor will it be anytime soon. I'm gonna dig out the barbecue and bring it around to the front, but I really don't need to, and I don't think moving it makes a lot of sense. We have 2 freezers. One of them still rock hard with ice in it, and the other one is getting a little thawy, but it's still pretty solid, which basically means we need to eat some of that food stored in the freezer before it goes bad, which I have no problem with. But the house is super cold. What can you do? I'm making fires and coffee, keep us under a blanket, and Kelly's Instagramming. Survival techniques.
Whatever, I unloaded the car, I found the hatchet.
I started a fire with flint and steel.
Yeah, I saw it.
This B.A. Baracus. Now it's time to make some coffee. Thanks. I give him the old happy face. I dropped my phone. That's got to be some competitive.
And now we wait.
Mr. Hammond, I think we're back in business.
I feel like I woke up in Bizarro world. It's like sunshiny and gorgeous out today. Way better than what it's been in the past. We're back at it. We're going to get that stupid mast support out of the water tank because we're relocating it. And I don't want to damage it because I want to reuse it. And all we'll do is blast it right back in place where we want it. So I can't go full Hulk on the thing. Got a headlamp on. They're useful, even when it's bright out. But I want to get a narrower blade for my multi-tool. And I'll tell you what, multi-tools are well worth the investment. I don't know how people made flush cuts before they existed, because, man, it is freaking useful. But I go through blades like nobody's business, and they're expensive. think a pack of a dozen's $100. This is how many I've left. Pretty much all the whole pack. But it's my third pack, so there's that. In general, prefer these wide guys, 2.5 inches. But for this particular task, I think we're gonna go with this. In fact, this width, but I'm gonna go with the wood bit. Where is that one? Just had it here. There you go. This one has bigger teeth. And I think when it comes to epoxy, this still works because epoxy acts a lot like wood. So we're gonna give this a go, and if it doesn't work, we'll come down and get the metal tooth one. Basically, the idea is to cut underneath this thing as much as possible. And then once we have it all as loose as we can get it, I think I'll put like a 2x4 down and then take a bottle jack and try to pop it up. The only risk there is that you're putting pressure down when you're putting pressure up. So as long as the least resistance is in the support for the mast, it should work. But it also could be catastrophic.
Last week, while I was drilling out some of the rot, Chris was hacking up the lid to the water tank and making the perimeter even so we can build up the platform a few inches to increase the volume.
I just need to get this top off, and the best way to do it is to grind, but both the ends have like quite a bit of lip on it, and grinding that off would be impossible, so I'm going to try to cut it.
Needless to say, there were multiple days of cutting using a variety of tools.
Okay, so the plan for this is, whoops.
Careful.
The plan for this water tank is to reuse it because fiberglass water tanks get the maximum out of the space you're using. Every nook and cranny can be used to store water as long as it's nice and clean and sealed properly and painted with a food grade paint. Should be great for a water tank. This one was in pretty good shape, other than it being a little ugly from its age. And we're gonna have a path that goes through here, but where I'm sitting is gonna be our like eating booth slash cocktail table setup. And that's gonna be 4 inches taller than the rest of the space. So I figured add some extensions across the top and lift this up in those areas. Basically maximizing the water tankage that we can hold. If you look right down there, there's a dirty old hole where the old fill hose used to come in. See it?
Right there.
So that dirty old hole is where the water tank used to fill, which makes sense because it was at the top of the tank, but we are going to raise it. So we're going to reroute it under the head to the other side, and then the dirty old fill hole will be taller, 4 inches taller. And that way we should get a few extra gallons here, like at least like 20 or 30, which is significant, right?
Yeah.
The other trouble we're gonna have to do is the reinforcing these tanks. This one, and this one are designed to let water over the top, and it's just structural. But it acts as a baffle so you don't get the big sloshing action back and forth with the water tank. This one in the middle supported the support for the mast. So wherever we're going to relocate that, we're going to have to cut away the vast majority of this and relocate it and make sure it's nice and sturdy and stable right under the mast support. I'm going to, obviously I've cut this out, now I'm going to finish cutting this up and then grind this all down smooth in preparation for sanding the interior and new glass and new paint and building it up where we want to build it up, building a new lid. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Should be able to pop it up, but I really doubt there's much holding this on, so obviously coming up from the bottom based on the shape is the best bet. Alright, best I can tell, there is this big of a line going through the entire thing that I can't reach with my saw. So that's what we're trying to break out. I thought we'd have a little bit more luck hitting it with a hammer because I didn't think there would be much bond in the center of the bottom, but my goodness, we've cut the fiberglass and everything, and this thing is stuck. There's movement, especially on this side. I feel like it's actually moving the thing. And if you look over here, it does kind of look like it's getting closer to this side than that. But over here, down here, it's super soft. I can't even get it to shift, so. There it is. This is what was holding me in place. More of that bear shit. So let's clean this up. Put a piece of fiberglass over that to repair it, but plan on doing that anyway. We got it out. That guy's a beast, so we should be able to locate it. Hopefully, grind it to size and fit it wherever it's going to be. But most likely, there where it says mast center line. So that's wonderful. Victory. Now it's time to grind. Alright, the grinding's done for now. I think we're going to need a bit of a cleanup, but that is not my realm.
Oh, Chris has been doing some sanding. Looks very white in here.
This is a job for Clean It Up, Kell.
Hey you, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw and you want to keep following along, become a subscriber. Just hit that subscribe button below.
Milwaukee grinder, it's been abused. It makes sense, but it's dying. I'm gonna unplug it now and go get a new one, because tools are like pets. Once they're dead, you throw them out and get a new one. I don't really mean that. I don't even know why I said it. I would never throw out a tool.